is by Empire Magazine. We got our first look, which means they're coming up on the trailer, no doubt. And they want the trailer in cinemas before Avatar 2. First look
Avatar 2?
Yes. Avatar. No. Mate. They got me saying it. Indiana Jones 5. As yet untitled.
Yeah.
There was a story that it was just called Indiana Jones at one point.
Yeah.
I hope that's not true because he's got to be on the whatever and he does a thing.
Exactly. It fits with the trend.
Indiana Jones and look at this weird thing he found.
Yeah, it fits with the trend of like you do a reboot and you just cut it down to, it's Fast and
but
Furious
this isn't,
or whatever.
it's never been what these are.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Indiana Jones and there's the box that does the thing on the whatever. Look out, everyone.
That's right.
It's got God's laser in it or something.
Oh, no.
Anyways, we got a couple of images and covers, including Harrison Ford. He's back, Mason.
We knew he was back.
What kind of clothes is he wearing?
Regular Indiana
Jones clothes. It looks like him, doesn't it?
Sure does.
We've also got a few other images, including Boyd Holbrook and Mads Mikkelson, and I've got some details here, Mason.
Okay.
First of all, it's confirmed to be set in 1969.
Nice.
Thank you. It's also going to be living against the backdrop of the space race.
Nice.
But the American effort to beat the Russians to the moon brings some uncomfortable truths to Indy.
Is it all the Nazis in the space program?
Correct,
Okay,
Mason.
Right.
The simple fact is that the moon landing program was run by a bunch of ex-Nazis. Can you ever really be an ex-Nazi?
That's a great question.
I mean, I guess if you fully renounce...
Who are you asking for?
Nobody that I know, Mason.
Okay, sure. Well, that includes me, so...
So Mads Mikkelsen is playing the villainous Voller, who is inspired partly by real-life Nazi-turned NASA engineer Werner von Braun.
Uh-oh.
So he said that...
Does that mean there is a Werner von Braun?
Presumably, I guess. Right. So he's a man who would like... Oh, maybe not. Maybe he's the guy, whatever.
Maybe he's the guy.
He's a man who would like to correct some of the mistakes of the past. And there's also going to be an Apollo 11 ticker tape parade in New York. Did you see that in the poster?
Oh, yeah, right.
And it's also says that Boyd Holbrook is also going to be like one of his workers and minions. And he's
there's
a Nazi person.
There's a what I think is like a concept image, and it's Indy in the city, and there's a big column of fire or something shooting up. Is that?
Yeah, I think that's the poster or whatever.
Is that in the? Okay.
Yeah, that's
Indy
what's going on.
That's
Indy in the city.
Yeah. Do you think Mads Mikkelsen's character will meet Werner von Braun?
I think he probably just is actually.
Okay, right, but then they could shake hands and show they're definitively different people.
They're different people.
Like I don't know if we've talked about this before, but in the American Psycho, the novel, the original novel.
Oh yeah, we have talked about this. Yeah,
Patrick Bateman meets Tom Cruise in his apartment complex.
Because they live in the same apartment.
But it seems to have been largely so people didn't go, is it supposed to be Tom Cruise? Is this Psycho meant to be Tom Cruise? No, obviously it can't be because he just met Tom Cruise.
Is in it. Tom Cruise is friends with this Psycho.
Yeah, that's right.
This American Psycho. Also, Christian Bale has said in an interview that he's based a lot of Patrick Bateman on Tom Cruise. He's laughing. You see him in an interview and he's having a good time, but you look at his eyes and he's like dead inside. Like he said something like that, which is hilarious, Mason.
All I'm saying is I don't know how litigious Werner von Braun's family is.
Sure.
They're like, how dare you defame this former
Nazi? He's a
Nazi,
Nazi, so do you want to bring attention to yourself?
No, I don't
if my granddad was a Nazi, which he wasn't, he killed a bunch of Nazis, Mason, I'll have you know.
Interesting.
And they were like, and someone was like, your granddad, this guy is based on your granddad and your granddad's a bad guy. I'm like, I don't know anything about this. I wouldn't say a goddamn thing. I'd shut my mouth.
Yeah. You might even make up some backstory like he wasn't a Nazi, but he killed a bunch of Nazis.
I would not need to make it up.
Even though he was a Nazi and then he just took a non-Nazi's identity.
You'd say I would do that hypothetically.
I'd say you would do that.
But not though, would I, at all? Because he wasn't a Nazi. He was a regular man.
Nice.
He was a good Aussie bloke, Mason.
That's great.
Who had his own trials and tribulations in Australia because he wasn't a Nazi. Not that there aren't Nazis in Australia, because there are. Just to clarify. Anyway, great, good.
How did he say the number 3? How did he show that on his fingers?
The way that you get shot for if you're in Germany. Anyways, how are you feeling about this? All this imagery.
I love it. I'm excited for it.
Me too. Yeah. I hope it's really good. But will it be?
I saw some discourse on Twitter today because, this was all released.
Yeah.
And people saying, I don't know if it'll have the same Spielberg kind of energy. Like it won't have the...
Yeah.
You know what we're looking for? Like a Indy fighting a bunch of Nazis on the tank kind of, that kind of big action set piece. I think it will.
I think it will. Or also, Spielberg doesn't make those kind of movies anymore, you know, and that's okay. He's doing like the Fabelmans and whatever. So I think he's in a different, and he's doing musicals. He's in a different era, you know. And also, I'm pretty sure he was like, I'm done with Nazis and shit, like years ago.
Yeah,
you know, and that's why also he had the Russians in Part 4, because I think after he did Schindler's List, he's like, this isn't fun for me anymore to be like, you know, to just parade a bunch of Nazis around on the screen. Like, I get that. Anyways, I'm glad for the movie that the Nazis are back so we can see more Nazis being killed. It's the perfect villain, Mason.
It is, isn't it?
Yeah.